What's up everyone, this is Cedric Sky-Seti.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're just going to talk about the different things that shocked us about Korea from the perspective of half Koreans. For those of you guys that don't know who we are, I am a half black, half Korean man who's been living here in Korea for almost 2 years now. I grew up in the United States, specifically on the East Coast.
I'm half white, half Korean girl who's been living here now. Sounds like a song. Who's been living here now for like 5 to 6 years.
So Becky and I, we grew up in a house where both of our moms were Korean.
Not in the same house. We grew up in different houses. I didn't meet him until Korea in a very different house.
So we grew up in the States with Korean moms in the house, and so I think we both had preconceived notions and ideas of how Korean culture was and how life is here in Korea. And so I know for me, I wanted to come here and experience Korea in a way that was different from what I've always known. I grew up with my mom heavily influencing my concept of Korean culture from the food, the language, and also her friend circle. So that was my exposure to Korean culture, in addition to like the media that I consumed, whether it be like the Korean dramas that she used to watch when I was growing up, to like when the internet became a thing. Obviously that tells you how old I was. You know, so consuming Korean content like K-pop and dramas through the internet, like I was able to shape my perspective of Korean culture through those mediums. And coming here, it was, I wouldn't say a completely different story, but there were a lot of things that shocked me.
Right. This is the thing to point out. A lot of, especially in our generation, are we the same generation?
I don't know. Let's just say yes.
In our generation, the Korean parent, whoever left Korea, they left at a certain period in time, you know, 80s, 70s. And if they stayed in Korea their whole rest of their lives, then the concept that they have of Korea is how Korea was in the 80s or the 90s or the 70s. But Korea has rapidly changed in a very small amount of time. And so the Korea that my mom grew up and knew, and how she influenced me on what Korea was like, it was very different than what Korea is actually today. And I think you get this mindset, especially if you don't come to Korea often growing up, that you will think like however your mom is, the way she talks, or your dad, or however your parent is, the way they talk, the way they dress, the way they cook, their saturi, like their accent. All of these things can kind of, you just I don't know, you just accept the idea like, hey, this is all Koreans are, right? This is just how Korea is, because my mom's Korea, so this must be what Korea's like. And you made a good point with the dramas, because my mom would only watch like those really old style historical dramas. Yeah. You know, where
they were in like it's like the king and queen.
Yeah, and then they always have like the general, and then they're like 죽여라, and like this kind of, right? So in my mind I was like, oh, this is like what Korea's like. So I never had that concept.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah, same thing. And so coming here, you know, I was able to really get a reality check, I think, in many different ways. But overall, I think it was good. It was good for me to kind of have my perspective recalibrated into reality. I think one of the things that shocked me when I first came was the language. And I think me and you can probably speak to this, but was the language. Now, I always thought that my Korean was a lot better than what it really is, because I'm able to understand my mom a lot easier than I can understand a lot of Koreans here. I grew up with my mom speaking to me in Korean, and you know, I was able to understand and relate to her, but then when I came here, I realized that there was a lot of just Korean that I did not understand. And to your point that you made earlier, the language has changed so much, because my mom moved from Korea in 1980 to the States, and so the way she speaks is mostly the 1980s. It has
a kind of old-fashioned style, honestly.
Yeah, so that was very shocking. So I think there are a lot of like buzzwords and slang words, probably more so now than before.
And Konglish also.
A lot of Konglish.
So like there will be Konglish used here in modern Korea, and if I will use it with my mom or, you know, maybe her friends or whatever, sometimes they won't even know what that is, what that Konglish word is, because Konglish doesn't necessarily mean like perfect English-Korean translation or connection or something.
Right.
Something something for me was the concept of fashion and beauty. Korean fashion, Korean beauty, right? Because growing up in the States, it's way more limited what your exposure is. I never watched K-pop. My mom never watched K-pop. She barely listened to anything except very like old or traditional or hymns. And same with movies and dramas, very like old style or historical. Did your mom ever watch these? My mom used to watch these all the time, where it's like very poorly produced and made, and it's all like shock factor, shock factor, shock factor.
Really?
You know, like there was one my mom used to watch where it was like, his wife, after got married, hasn't washed her face or brushed her teeth for 20 years. And they're like, this is the photo evidence. And so
Really?
these are the kind of shows that my mom was watching. So I was like, wow, Korea, some crazy things are happening. But the concept also of beauty and fashion, because it changes very rapidly here in Korea, extremely trend-based. But it takes a longer time to get to the States, or if you're just not consuming that type of media, you're just gonna be couple steps behind on what was actually very fashionable.
Right.
So I would think like, oh, this is like Korean fashion. My mom bought this for me, and this is how they wear it. And it's totally not, like I came here to Korea and I was like, wow, like people dress a lot differently than I expected.
Now for me, another thing was the food. And this is more of a good shock because I grew up with my mom cooking food, and she didn't like cook everything that there is to cook in the whole Korean palette, right?
You're gonna say like in the whole world.
In the whole world, right?
Who would?
Right. So, she knew how to cook really well, like a certain percentage or portion of like Korean cuisines, and again, a lot of it is from when she was here. And back decades ago, there weren't like a whole lot of options compared to today. So when I got here, I was shocked at not only the diversity and the amount of Korean food and different styles of Korean food, but also the Western influence on Korean food, and also just the Western foods in general. I mean, we have like cafes and bakeries here that are inspired from like France. We have like Western style pizza, things like that, chicken, I mean, you name it, we have it here, at least in Seoul. And so I was shocked because like Korea has everything. Now it's Koreanized many of the things. I mean, you'll find authentic
Korean style pasta is so good.
I like it. I know a lot of people who come here, they don't like the pasta, or they don't like any of the breads because everything is sweet, right? And they're like, why is garlic sweet? I don't know, but I like it. Why does pizza here in Korea have corn on it? I don't know, but I like it. Maybe it's because of the Korean blood in me. But those are the things that I think shocked me in a good way, because I'm like, wow, there's no shortage of like things to eat here.
Sure. Yeah, and couple culture in Korea, so when people think like, if you have a very limited or specific time period that you're envisioning, like, oh, this is how people date in Korea, I would see these older couples or the old style drama couples, it can be like really cheesy, and they're wearing like these ridiculous couple outfits, and so people are like, oh yeah, like this is something that you would think. You're like, oh wow, this is how couples act. This is how couples dress together. Like this is a thing. And you'll find it's, of course, much more different than that. And in the media and Korean dramas, of course, like they push like a certain style, or they push like a certain ideal when it comes to couples and dating. And sometimes that's mirrored in real life for sure. But it's just different, and I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't come to Korea.
But I think for me, another thing that shocked me, I was aware of it, but I didn't really feel the impact of it until I moved here, was just the strength of the hierarchy structure here. When you're talking about like getting jobs here, or companies, like company culture, or even just the 언니 오빠 culture, like all of that, like it's so strong here.
You garner respect based on your age. It doesn't matter if you're a nice person, it doesn't matter if you're a very successful, qualified person. Really, it's a matter of age, which on one hand can be a very good thing, because I do believe elderly deserve respect. They have lived through way more than I have, okay? And that deserves respect. However, at the same time, some people take that to a point of saying, well, then you because you are younger than me, do not deserve my respect. And so you can have this very unbalanced power dynamic.
Right, and so that's why when people ask you your age here, they're usually just trying to see where you fit or where they fit, right? So like when you meet somebody new, a lot of times they'll ask either what you do or how old are you?
Yeah.
You know, because if you're like 2 years older than me, then I know that I have to use respectful language to you.
It determines how you talk and how you interact. I was going to this university, I went to Yonsei University, and I remember there was like really strong, like very strong 언니, 오빠, 선배, 후배 culture, right? So if they, like there was one 오빠 to me who I barely knew him, but he called himself my 선배, like my senior. And he was like, I'm your 선배. And so we hardly knew each other, but he would always be like, are you hungry? I'll buy you food. You want something to drink? I'll buy you coffee. Are you need some place to go hang out tonight? Okay, come with me. And 오빠 will take care of you with all our friends because you're my 후배, right? And so it was kind of overwhelming because I didn't know who he was very well, but it was just like this hierarchy really exists, and especially in universities I see it a lot in my university life. I honestly love a good 언니. I have so many good 언nis, so I really experience that very well. But on the same time, then you have to become 언니 one day, and you are 오빠, so you have different responsibilities.
I do. It's so much pressure, man.
It's a good thing.
I guess so.
Yeah. So we love living here in Korea, obviously, and we hope that you find this to be interesting and informative in some way. We'd like to know what you think, and if there's any specific topics you'd like us to cover, leave it in the comments below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
And then notification bell.
Button. Because you want to hear more from us, and we want to hear from you guys as well. So that's it for this video, and we will see you guys next time.
And remember to always seize the day. Peace.